I got the frame back to my place. I need to put the motor in here, and I need to check the headers that I got and find out which ones will fit. I got my fuel tank to get installed. I need to continue boxing this in, and I have that piece, but I want to get in here and sandblast, maybe some 2K epoxy primer up in here, so I don't have to worry about rust. The other thing I need to do is figure out what I'm doing with the cross members between the step notch. There's another thing that I need to do to this frame. The e-brake cable. Okay, so let's take a look. My e-brake cable starts right there. That actually goes down and it goes underneath the frame. That's a problem for me because I'm trying to lay frame. The first point of contact that this e-brake cable makes, it actually goes underneath the frame and it hits this bracket right here. Now, of course, this bracket is now bent because I've been dropping this frame on the ground. What I want to do is I think I want to cut both of these rivets off, and I take it and I flip it upside down and I weld it to the frame. Then my e-brake cable will now be up high and give me the clearance I need. And then all I got to do is just find a hole or drill an elongated hole for this cable to come through and attach this to your e-brake foot pedal. Okay, we're back. We're back on the C-10 project, and today what I need to do is I gotta get this bed on that frame, mock up the rear mounted fuel tank, and then cut a hole in the bed for the filler tube. So we're gonna work on that today. I also want to get the donor tab on the frame so I could reroute my e-brake cable, and the only way to kind of do that and make sure that I'm not turning it too tightly, that it's got a nice radius as it comes through the frame and up into the cab. The only way to really do it is just to have the donor cab, put that on. We're back here on the C-10, and I got my bed back on the frame. I got my donor cab back on the frame. I got my big block 454 in the frame, and I have to do just a few more little mods before I can tear this down and really build this thing for real. Okay, I'm seeing a problem now. Basically, my slosh tub, I know it comes down right here over the rim. Okay, we're using this bolt right here for my tub, my slosh tub, and I'm also using this bolt right here for my slosh tub. So all this is like fiberglass right here. So now I got to figure out a way how to basically tuck this down. I need to get mine. Here it is right here. Mine's gonna kind of sit up in here like this. So if you look at my e-brake cable, I need to do something a little bit different. So, problems. So if it drops down and I come down here, it's essentially gonna ride right here. I could put a little anchor or hanger right here, right? Which I got this guy right there. Maybe try to anchor it right there and then try to head into the frame from there. I think that's gonna be my fastest route without twisting up the e-brake cable that comes out from the foot pedal. Oh, coronavirus.
There'll never be another sunny day. There'll never be another sunny day. You got me fine. There'll never be another sunny day. There'll never be another sunny day. You got me fine. There'll never be another sunny day. There'll never be another sunny day. You got me fine.
I'm gonna take this brake cable and I'm gonna go through this factory hole that's right underneath my cab mount, right? So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm just marking about where this e-brake cable is gonna go through the frame, and then I've marked underneath the frame about the angle it naturally wants to go. I think this will be perfect because once my slosh tub gets in here, this can kind of just, you know, push up in here like that. I think there's plenty of room right here where my slosh tub comes down. So I think I'm gonna be okay. So this is where I'm at, and then all I need to do is really modify that bracket, which is this one right here. This bracket right here was a bracket that hung down low, but since we're dropping the frame on the ground, this bracket's gotta get relocated. I think after last night going through this e-brake cable situation, I think what I need to do is just kind of get this lined up exactly where I need it, trim what I don't need, tack this up, and weld it. I came up with taking that bracket right there and I set it up. There happened to be a factory hole. I'm not sure what that hole was for, but I just use a bolt. I trim this down. I had to trim the back of this to get this bracket to sit inside of the frame rail. I'm coming through this factory hole right underneath that cab mount. There's a hole underneath it, and I'm using that. Now I've opened this hole up a little bit, just a little bit, with my unibit to allow the head to come through this hole. Now that I've done that, I've gotten this cable in here. I've set up this bracket. This bracket is angled down. My biggest concern is that, you know, when I mock all this up, that I don't have my e-brake cable rubbing up against my transmission cross member. It's not trying to rub up against the transmission anywhere. I'm really concerned about everything that's going on down here. This seems to be working pretty good for me. I'm gonna tack that bracket in and get that done, and I'm gonna start moving on to the next thing.
I did to my sandwich. I wasn't going to put it in the garbage because when I bite out of it, the hot dog comes out. Well, when I bite the hot dog and I try to let go of it, it just stays on it. It just stays on my mouth and then I grab it and then I rip it.
Rip it?
I rip it.
Rip it!
I'm not talking about ribbit, I'm talking about rip it.
Rip it!
I'm talking talking about rip it. Like you rip something.
Rip it.
Rip it is like is only for frogs, but
So you weren't a frog.
I'm not a frog.
So you didn't rivet?
R- r-
You rip it.